Hello, my name is Inga if you and I are meeting for the first time, and I want to welcome you to the channel Becoming Unstoppable. Our mission is to bring the living testimony of God's power to restore broken lives and to transform the impossible into possible, and also to share practical guidance and self-management tools to help you to become strong and keep on going no matter what's going on, to break through every obstacle that you face and create a life that you're longing to live. And today I want to talk about the living conditions, the circumstances where you're at. If you don't like where you are at in life, if you are not happy with your life, and yet you feel trapped by the circumstances, this video will be for you. And I want to share a little bit my own story to show you that yes, you can change your circumstances. You know, when my dad brought me into the room and sat me in the wheelchair, and I went and looked down and saw the carpet instead of my legs, it was one of the most devastating moments in my life. And that moment I fully understood that the world that I lived in, the life that I knew then, is completely destroyed. It's broken by the event that happened overnight. My life completely was destroyed. And plus, the scariest thing was that I did not see a way how to change it, because losing my legs was not like cutting a finger. I no longer had my legs. It's not going to heal. It's not going, you know, like, right? So it's even difficult for me to describe that. And it was a devastation for me and for my family. And yet, with God's help, I was able to transform my life from that point, and from the point where I was not able to even speak, to move, to do anything independently because of my injuries suffered in a car accident. I was able to transform my life, to travel across the globe and to build a fulfilling and dynamic, independent life in sunny California. And today, when many people look at me, it seems to them like I create that image that I'm just naturally that happy and strong, and it was always easy for me. Like, it's not a big deal for me with one hand to make a meal, or to transfer from the wheelchair into the car, or to do anything else, you know, without legs and one arm. But the reality is that it's not easy. And when I say to you that you can change your circumstances, I don't mean at all that it's going to be easy, like you can just do it. No, it's not going to be easy, but it's possible. Your circumstances might show you that it's impossible. Like, there's no way for you to move, right? But it's possible. You know, when I decided to change my life, I was in a very, very dark place of my life. At the time, it was like a year and a half after the crash, and I was trying to walk with prosthesis. As soon as I got out of the hospital, I said to my family and my friends, I will walk again. And no matter what's going on now, I will walk again. I will go back to my life. Don't cry, don't worry. And I was really determined to do that. And when I went to the orthopedic center, I was told that in your condition is not possible. It's impossible for you to walk with no legs, and I don't have my knees also, and one arm is paralyzed. And they said in that condition, you cannot walk. And I said, no, I will. And they made prostheses for me, and I did learn to walk. However, the way prostheses were made, they were damaging my body. Every step was through excruciating pain. Like after an hour of walking with prosthesis, my legs were bruised and covered with even open wounds. And I just realized that there's no way I can go out and I can go to work, I can live with that kind of prosthesis. I cannot. And so that's the condition where I was at the time, what I mentioned just a few seconds ago. My life was a pure existence. Because I woke up to the world which I hated. Because I was only 22 years old. I wanted to leave, and I was striving for it. I said I will do whatever it takes. And it seemed like every time I make a step forward, I am facing the brick wall. I cannot go out of my home because there are stairs. Like we lived on the 5th floor, and for me to go down, there was an elevator, but then there are stairs. So for me to go out of home means that somebody had to carry me on in their arms. Then I tried to go, and make prosthetic legs, so I am able to leave my home. Prosthetic legs are not working. I cannot go because my body is covered with open wounds and bruises. And so every time I made an effort to break the circumstances, I would hit the brick wall, and it's like the circumstances were screaming at me that you are disabled and whatever you want is impossible. And so I surely, steadily, step by step, I went down into that dark, cold world of depression. And actually, I didn't even know that I was depressed. I learned that I was in depression by reading a book about psychology. In the summer, my family and I, we went to visit my aunt, and I took a book about psychology, thought I'm just going to read and learn more about the psychology of a human being, right? And so as I began reading the book, I realized that I was depressed, and not just depressed, I was deeply depressed. And I didn't know, nobody knew that I felt sad, and I did not tell anybody that there were a couple times when I caught myself that I was envying my boyfriend who was killed in a car accident, that he was not alive to experience the loss and anguish and the despair that I was. And but nobody knew about it. I was basically myself in that condition, and now I saw that I was deeply depressed. And that book, it seemed like it shook me. It shook me to wake me up, to show me where I was. And I did not like that condition. I did not like the fact that I was depressed. And I said to myself, you know what? The way I got into this, I will get out of it. And I began thinking, I began analyzing, so what makes me depressed? And, the answer was very simple, that I was locked up in my home. I was not able to live anymore like every, a body-able person. I cannot live like I used to. I am locked up in my room, and 24/7 and 12 years a month, I'm locked up in my room without ability to be part of the world, without ability to contribute, without ability to live life. And that was just really devastating. And one day, as I was, analyzing, and I just cried out to God, Lord, how long can I live in it? Like, I am trying, I'm really trying, and nothing is working. And how do I continue living? And that moment, it seemed like, my mind was enlightened by the thought, these circumstances that make you depressed, they were created by the event, by the car accident. The car accident changed your circumstances, changed your living conditions. And if that event was able to shape my living conditions, to change them, then I can make different kind of events and again change those conditions. And that moment was like, it enlightened my mind. Wait a minute. I don't have to continue living in this prison. I don't have to continue living in this depression. I can actually make action. I can deliberately change those circumstances, and I can make the life that I want to. And that was the first time since the car accident that I had hope. That, now I see that moment my belief changed. Because see, I will go ahead and I will rush, ahead to share with you that to change your living circumstances, to change your life, first of all, what needs to change is your belief. What you believe was possible. And so I was depressed because I was living in that prison and I was not seeing any way how to change that. I was locked up in that mindset that this is where my life is. And that moment when I realized that I don't have to live this way, I can make another kind of events. And I can change my life the way I want to. And so then I began coaching myself without even realizing. I asked myself, okay, so what kind of life it has to be for you not to feel depressed? And I answered myself, I want to live a full life. I want to be able to leave my home. I want to be able to go to work. I want to be able to meet up with my friends. I want to be able to just simply go to the store and buy myself whatever I want. I want to live like every human being. Okay? What are the possible ways for you to make that happen? And since at the time I lived in that with my family, we lived in a 9-story house. We lived on the 5th floor, and for me to go out meant I had to be able to walk. So I said, okay, I need to go back to the training to walk with prosthetic legs. I need to just somehow walk with them. And even though it was excruciating pain, I said, somehow I have to do it. And then I set myself goals and timelines, and then I began taking action. And it's a very, very long story, but in a short way, I want to stay focused in this video. So I will say in a very short way that my decision to aim for that fulfilling life and my decision to walk again brought me all the way to California. From Lithuania to California to meet my dream, my first dream to walk again. Thanks to American prosthetic specialist with whom I was connected by the research that I began doing. He believed in my dream, he believed it was possible, and he decided that he was going to help me. And so 3 years later, after the crash, I traveled to California to get my comfortable prosthetic legs made, and I did learn to walk. I was able to walk, and even I could even dance before those same people who told me I would not be able to walk. And so when I returned to Lithuania walking again, and that was the most beautiful moment where I met my mom and my dad and my brother walking again, standing, and I walked up to my mom and hugged her, and that was the most beautiful moment. That was my dream. Even now, I barely hold myself from being emotional. And so we all shared the joy that you can make the impossible. No, don't allow anybody to tell you that something is impossible for you. The human perseverance and relentless effort can break you through any obstacles. And with God's help, you can change your circumstances. And so at that time, we were all very happy and sharing the joy. And even my best friend and I went to have lunch exactly to that same restaurant, which was the restaurant where my boyfriend and I were at before we got into the car accident. And with that, when I walked into that same restaurant, it's like I showed the destiny that I will make the destiny. You took away my legs, I will return them. And I will make my destiny the way I decided for it to be, not the way you wanted. You decided to break it. And, you know, that was a big, big victory to me. And so, you know, but after sharing that joy and the happiness of me being able to walk again, I had to face the reality of the living conditions anyway, because I lived in a 4-season country where the first snow and rain showed me that I will not be able to walk because it was slippery, and it's just walking with prosthetic legs in my condition was it was dangerous. And then the city was not accessible, so I still was not able to live the way I thought I would be able to. And then again, I started seeing that the circumstances began pushing me away back into that same pit of depression. That, you know, I thought that by achieving my goal to walk again, I was getting out of it. But again, circumstances seemed like they were too strong for me. They were stronger than I. And they were bringing me back to that prison. I was not able to go out every day and go wherever I wanted. Again, we know with the snow and the rain, I will be locked up in my home until the spring. And I began praying again, saying, God, what do I do now? I have comfortable prosthesis, but I cannot live the way I envisioned. And I remembered California, of course. You know, when I came to California, I saw that the environment was absolutely beautiful. It was all wheelchair accessible wherever I went. And California is like summer or, you know, year round. But for me just the idea to move to California was outrageous. I did not even dare to even discuss that idea because, you know, I did not have where to live, and I did not have the job. I did not have, you know, consistent income and enough income to survive in California. And then, you know, I did not even have I did not have the right to live and work in America. And plus, I cannot even take any kind of job. I did not have, you know, I don't have legs and I have only functional arm. And so basically, you know, that was a nice wish, but the circumstances where I was were screaming at me like, you are out of your mind. So I did not even dare to even talk to my family about it. And I continued, you know, day by day, trying to think, and what do I do with my life, and how do I move forward? And I was praying, and one day, I was handed the book Greatest Mystery in the World by Og Mandino. And reading that book, I read something that shook me again, that every one of us is given the opportunity. And we need to take the opportunity and to use it for our life. And there was the sentence, I'm sorry, the four things in life do not come back is the spoken word, the sped arrow, the past life, and the missed opportunity. At that moment, I realized that I have the opportunity. I was already in California, and I know a couple people there. So maybe that's my opportunity for me to go and create the life that I want to. But then how? And so again, you know, I was now much more determined I need to take charge of my life. I need to step out and do something about it. I cannot just sit and wait until maybe somebody will come and rescue me. If I will not begin changing my circumstances, nothing is going to change. And I will miss my opportunity if I waste my time. And I again began praying. I said, God, are you speaking to me through this book? What is going on in here? And through the Holy Scriptures, after my prayer one night, I felt the Lord did speak to me through the Holy Scriptures that yes, that's the Lord. And I need to go back to California and establish my life in USA. And to my question, God, how? On the next day, when I opened the Bible, I read the words, do not be afraid, for I am your God, and I will be with you. And that moment, I felt peace, and my faith was strong. I said, you know what, if the Lord is directing me, and He says that that's what I need to do, that means that God will be with me. And I talked to my family, I talked to my American friends that I had at the time, and I decided to go back to America and see how I could establish my life. And of course, there were many unknowns. You know, there were many questions. Inga, but how are you going to survive? How are you going to move around? Like, you are in a manual wheelchair. You have only one arm. Like, how are you going to do this? How are you going to survive? In Sonoma County, in California, the most expensive state of America and one of the most expensive counties in California. And every time I had that question, my answer was, I don't know. I don't know, but I will know when I get there. And so, empowered by my faith, I returned to California. And again, it's a very long story, but I will share that God was faithful. He sent me people who were willing to help me and who went beyond and above. They put their own efforts to help me, which I'm so grateful to each of you. And I was ready to do whatever it takes. I did not care what job I would do. I did not care how much I had to work. I did not care. I was ready to do whatever it takes to attain my goal. And I held my vision in my mind, and I was constantly praying and living in faith and making decisions based on my faith and what I understood what God was leading me to do. And I did establish my life in California. It's been already over 13 years that I live in California, and I live as though I don't have the physical limitations. I can go out, I work. I worked at the Disability Services and Legal Center for over 13 years, and now I stepped out, you know, and to do the public speaking and life coaching to help other people, to inspire them and show them the practical guidance and tools how to change their life. And so this is what the video I am doing for, is to inspire you and to sparkle that faith in you, that no matter what circumstances you have, yes, it might seem impossible. Yes, you might not know what to do, but I want to, you know, to give that belief in you by sharing my own story, that with your decisions, you can take action and you can attain goals. And as you will be reaching your goals, as you will be working toward your goal, you will be changing your circumstances. Your circumstances will not be able to remain the same if you begin make different choices. Basically, you know, just look at your past, right? What brought you to where you are in your life? The choices that you made, the work that you decided to go to, the friends that you decided to have relationship with, city or country where you decided to live, whatever you decided to do, that's what created your current circumstances. So by making different choices and setting the goal that you want to attain, you will be changing your circumstances. And I will be creating a video series where I will be sharing practical guidance as I was restoring my life and as I was attaining other goals in my life. I was basically using the same strategy, the same steps, and I will be sharing that strategy. It's called 7 Steps Forward on these video series, in these video series, to help you to change your life. And I have written my story in my book, Unstoppable. It's a Choice. I published it earlier in 2018. It's already a year. Soon will be a year. And in this book, I shared my full story where I tell openly and honestly how I was able to restore my life. And also there I share practical guidance. This book will work as a coach, your personal coach, to help you to change the life and to create the life that you are desiring to live. So get the book. It's all over the internet. We just checked yesterday. It's on Amazon, and if you want to support other and local bookstores and other stores, you can go online, and we'll put in the description area other websites where you can obtain this book. And also I want to encourage you to subscribe to the Facebook page and YouTube channel, where you will see more videos that I will be creating. And for now, I hope that this sparkled a little hope in your heart that the life that you have now, it can be changed. With God's help, you will be able to change any circumstances. And it's all about your choice. Once you decide to do whatever it takes and go until you achieve your dream, you will change your life. You will be able to create what you desire. I will bless you, and I wish you all the best. And for now, just imagine, what would you like your life to be? And until the next time.